And there's a whole lot of painters with a whole lot of styles out there.
Yeah.
Queen 10 as Mateos.
But I will say, Adrian Mateos and Dan Smith sitting beside each other. I mean, two of, some of the most successful final tablists.
We are taking a look at a super high-level hand played in the $25,000 buy-in GG Millions that took place at the recent Triton Poker Series in Montenegro. Adrian Mateos, one of the absolute best tournament players in the world, maybe the best actually, raises it up about 40 big blinds deep effective on the button with Queen of Hearts, 10 of Spades, and then the legend Patrik Antonius calls in the big blind with Jack of Diamonds, 5 of Hearts. You may say, should he even call with Jack 5 preflop with roughly half the field remaining? And it turns out the answer is yes. Barely. Actually, not even barely. This hand is just good enough to call, and if you are folding it, you are playing too tightly. Make sure you study the GTO preflop charts over at my training site, pokercoaching.com. This is an easy call. Let's go to the flop.
Players that just win events. I remember there was one series many, many years ago that Dan Smith just won 3 5Ks in a row. I was like, what is going on with this guy? Just when he was breaking out. So,
Beast mode.
yeah.
Top pair here against the good gutter for Mateos, who started the party.
Yeah, 2 hands in a row. I'm seeing some quite light peels from the big blind, which indicates to me that, this is certainly where, the solver trend leaning towards, especially, most specifically probably against late position opens like the button. Queen 6 from Ben Heath, and now the Jack 5, which is flopped top pair.
The flop comes Jack of Spades, 8 of Hearts, 7 of Spades. Patrik checks. Adrian goes for a roughly 2/3 pot size bet with his gut shot and overcard and backdoor flush draw. And then Patrik Antonius calls. Perfectly fine, good, standard GTO poker from both players so far. Let's head to the turn.
So the bet call of 62,000 actually brings a decent card for Patrik on the turn. Picking up the gut shot of his own. Checking, of course, once more. 2 flush draws out there, 2-13 in the middle. And for Mateos, when we do get called on this particular flop, it does feel like...
The turn is the 4 of Hearts. Patrik checks. And then Adrian, with his draw, checks it back. And it turns out Queen of Hearts, 10 of Spades, mixes it up. Sometimes it checks. Sometimes it keeps bluffing. This time, though, Adrian checks it back, which, perfectly fine, good, reasonable play. You may say, should Queen High just check and give up in this spot? Well, you have to realize you're not always going to automatically give up. First off, sometimes you're going to make a pair or a straight, which is really good. And other times, perhaps the river completes a flush and you can use your hand as a bluff. So the plan is not just to always check it back and then lose when you fail to improve. This time, though, check. Let's go to the river.
The check back is a bit more of the convenient approach. Inconvenient, of course, is the lack of improvement, courtesy of this board pairing 7 of Hearts on the end, though.
Yeah, I think maybe Mateos prepared to give up after that turn check.
Patrik deciding that the jack is enough to hunt value. A bet of 30,000 into 213, though. This is a whisper.
The river is the 7 of Hearts, pairing the board and putting up the backdoor flush. Patrik Antonius goes for a 2 big blind bet with his top pair, no kicker. You may say, is this even a play? Should you ever be betting tiny from out of position? And again, if you have studied at pokercoaching.com, we discuss the spot thoroughly in the tournament masterclass. When it goes check on the turn and you are out of position with a hand that has 52 to 55-ish% equity, leading the river, or it's not really a lead because no one bet the turn, but betting the river for 1 big blind or 2 big blinds is very often a viable play. The question, though, is does a jack fall in that category? And it turns out the answer is no. It's actually too strong. This is a spot where a jack should usually be going a little bit bigger, something like 5 big blinds, or even 7 big blinds, or 8 big blinds. The hands that should be going for the minimum bet are 8s. A lot of 8s should be betting tiny, along with some flushes. And a few bluffs. That said, if you wanted to slot the jack 5 into the tiny bet range, it's probably okay, given the 5 is the absolute worst kicker you're probably going to play, or one of the worst kickers you're going to have in the spot. So, sure, not exactly GTO, but certainly a very reasonable hand to bet tiny with. What do you think Adrian is going to do with the Queen 10?
Oh, sometimes we get a little too cute and we get our cheeks pinched.
Yeah, just daring him. And with that Queen of Hearts in hand, the Spaniard saying, okay, you want to dance? Baby, we can dance. Just give me a reason. 30,000 all the way up to 260,000.
After some thought, Adrian, with his Queen of Hearts, 10 of Spades, raises to 260,000. And you know what the GTO strategy is with the Queen of Hearts, 10 of Spades in the spot? It is to raise almost every single time. Either pretty big or really big. And Adrian does decide to go for it. Amazing GTO poker from Adrian on every betting round so far. He doesn't miss. Let's see if Antonius can find the call.
Now walk me through the Queen of Hearts and the 10 of Spades in particular in Adrian's kit here and how those actually aid him in this process.
So the 10 helps in blocking the 10-9 for the nut straight and the effective and the nuts on the turn. It just makes it less likely for Antonius to have 10-9. Having the Queen of Hearts means that, you know, your other card could be the 10 of Hearts or the Ace of Hearts or the King of Hearts. It just makes it so it's more likely that you could have a flush and less likely that Antonius could. So, you know, if Adrian Mateos had, say, Queen 10 with the Queen of Clubs here, I think would be less inclined to make this big move. And Antonius has got a really tough decision here. I mean, this is part of the thing, right? When you make these small sort of blocky bets that have become very, very popular in today's super high roller circuit, every once in a while, a player like Adrian and any of these kind of players that are at this level are going to pounce on it, and you're going to have to make a very, very big decision. This is part of the calculation in making that bet, right? Is that I need to sometimes call when they make a big raise, and that's what Antonius is trying to figure out right now.
Credit to Patrik for not just automatically assigning something better than Jack 5 across the way due to this raise. And ironically enough, while one might perceive this on the surface to be a disrespectful deliberation, in fact, it's actually the product of respect for Mateos' game and saying, I know you're capable of taking this spot.
Yeah, but it's not simply a 5x raise here to 150K. This is an impossibly large, near 10x raise. It's irregular. It's massive.
Oh my gosh. Patrik sniffs it out, and that is a deflating thing to experience if you're Adrian Mateos, Griff.
After a lot of thought, Patrik Antonius finds the call and wins a massive pot. The question becomes, should he have called in this scenario with his bluff catcher? And you know what the tiebreaker is in this scenario? It's whether or not your kicker is a heart. Now, whenever he's betting with the 8s, tiny for value on the river and he gets raised, a lot of those are going to be the Ace 8, the King 8, or the Queen 8. And if he has the heart in his hand blocking the flushes, those are going to call a lot of the time. I'm not exactly sure how the 5 kicker is going to play into this, given the 5 kicker is a very low heart, but I have to presume if he's betting tiny on the river with the jack and then getting raised, the 5 of hearts kicker is probably a reasonable kicker to call with. Antonius realizes that. He makes the call. He may also think that Adrian's the type of player who may even overbluff on the river, as a lot of the best tournament players in the world will. So he finds the call and he wins a huge pot. This battle was between one of the absolute best, call him old school players, and one of the best new school players. Antonius against Mateos. What I want to know is, what style of player do you prefer to watch? Let me know in the comments section down below, and I'll be back in just a second to tell you what I prefer to watch. While you're down there, click the like and subscribe button if you love this hand.
Yeah, but I mean, we should be giving all the flowers to the Finnish superstar. I mean, it almost has me at a loss for words. What an incredible call there, calling 260,000 on the river with just the jack, and vaulting himself up surely into the top 10 of the chip stacks. Brilliant stuff from Patrik.
Personally, I love to watch the battle you just watched play out. I love to see the old school pros, especially those who have stayed relevant in today's games, battle against the top, call them young tournament players today, even though at this point, Mateos isn't even that young. I remember when I first played against Adrian Mateos, he was something like 18 or 19 years old. I remember a day, actually, where I was playing turbo tournaments with him in, I think it was Prague, and I think he won the turbo tournaments they had on the last day of the EPT stop. They have 2 of them. He won them both on the same day. Pretty good way to kick off your poker career. He is a crusher, and now he is winning the biggest tournaments in the world on a regular basis. Huge congrats to him. He's a great player to watch if you do want to study these games. And I love watching players like Antonius battle against players like Mateos. This is my favorite thing to do. Hope you enjoyed it too. Good luck in your games. Have fun. And I'll talk to you next time.